start my videos off with a pun, but I do not think I could come up with a good one. Okay, welcome to another installment of The Hungry Heathen. We're going to be remaking the Yule cake that we made in our first video on the channel, if you scroll back to last year. I'm a little more prepared this time. Kind of. So we're going to need milk, sugar, butter, salt, water, instant yeast, apple cider vinegar, flour, ground cardamom, raisins, and candied citron. Now, if you watch the video before this one, we made candied oranges last night. It wasn't a hard process, but holy crap, does it take forever. So we are going to get started. Now, you're going to want a saucepan. One of these. And we're going to put in a 1/3 cup of milk. So this is 2/3 of a cup. I don't know why they didn't put a 1/3 cup in with the measuring spoons. So I'm just going to fill it up halfway. About there. And then we need a 1/4 cup of sugar. 1/4 cup. It's not the opening that we want for this. Maybe it is. A 1/4 cup of sugar. Now, and we need 1 teaspoon of salt. Maybe. What? Try that again. There we go. Apparently the salt's been sitting a while. 1 teaspoon of salt. And we need 1/8 of a cup of butter. Now, because we're so well prepared for this, we have tub butter. So bear with me while I do this, because it's 1/8 of a cup, so it's 1/2 of a quarter. I'm going to make sure this is 1/8 cup of butter. Yes, 1/8 cup of butter into the saucepan. Maybe. Probably. It would be cool if you would do what I need you to do. Okay, thanks. Okay. Now, we're going to heat this on low flame. Until the butter melts. So we're just going to let that do its thing. Now what we're going to do is we've got to mix together. Try not to take out my microphone. I'm sure that's going to sound really good in the video. Because this is an eggless recipe, we're going to mix together milk and apple cider vinegar. So we're going to need another 1/4 cup of milk for this. So I'm going to take the one that has butter in it because it's all going to get mixed together anyway. So we're going to need 1/4 cup of milk. Put that in the bowl. Try not to dump it all over the counter like I almost did. Really ideal. And then we need 1 tablespoon of our apple cider vinegar. Now, you're going to let this sit for 5 minutes. Oh, that is rough. In case you couldn't tell, I'm not a fan of the smell of vinegar. So you want to let this sit for 5 minutes. Now, what this is going to do is this is going to become the consistency of the eggs, because we're not using eggs in this. This is an eggless recipe. So now we need to check and see if this is melted yet. Not quite, but we're getting there. So next, we need another bowl. And we need 3/4 of a, say 2 3/4 of a teaspoon. Yes. So 1 packet of this is 2 1/4 teaspoons. So we're going to add this in the bowl like that. Remove that right off there. And then we need 1/2 a teaspoon. So, that is 1 teaspoon, 1/2 a teaspoon. Put that in the bowl. I'm going to save that for later in case I decide to do any more baking. Now, this is melted. So what you're going to want to do is you want to set that aside for right now. And, okay, so you want to let that come to a lukewarm temperature. So, about room temp. We're going to take our butter, our apple cider vinegar and milk, get that out of the way. Now, I need warm water. So I need 1/4 cup of warm water. So because I know you guys don't like to hear the faucet running, I'm going to pause this quick and do that. Okay, so the warm water and yeast is right here. Mix this together quick. Actually, you know what? We'll do. Let's use a small spoon. I don't know why I didn't think of that to begin with. Small spoon. I'm going to mix this together. Then we're going to take our mixing bowl. We're going to dump all that right in there. Okay. Dump all that in there. Now, we are going to want to mix together also in here. So we're going to add the butter milk mixture into that as well. And then this concoction. If you look, you can see how it's a consistency of an egg, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. It's consistency of something. I don't know if I would call it an egg. Excuse me while I scratch my nose. Now, put these in the sink. Take these off because we're going to have to start doing other things here. So, we need to add a half a cup of flour. So I've got that right over there. Now, if you remember the last time we made this video, I used a whisk. I didn't. So, we're going to use something a little different this time. So we're going to add... I probably should do this over the bowl so, you know, it just doesn't make a freaking mess. Okay. Half a cup flour. And now, we're going to stir it until it's combined. So, stir, stir, stir. There's a baking spatula here somewhere. So we're going to put this back in there. So once this is combined, you're going to want to add... There it is. Another half cup of flour. So, do another half cup of flour. Now, I'm sure this is going to come as a surprise to absolutely no one when I say that I haven't opened this yet. But this is ground cardamom. And we are adding 1 teaspoon. 1 teaspoon. This little guy. I'm going to throw that in there. I don't know why they put these shakers on here. I mean, I get it, but it's not like I'm going to use it to season my salad. And then we're going to want to beat this together until it's combined. Now you should notice that this starts to thicken, and you're going to get some flour up on the sides of the bowl and everything, and that's kind of why you want to use a baking spatula. I didn't even know it was called a baking spatula. I've always just called it a rubber spatula, but according to my better half, Miss Heathen, this is called a baking spatula. Now, we're also talking about the same person who called a spaghetti spoon a noodly spoon one day while we were at the store. So, I love her, I do. She's wonderful. Anyway, mix this together until it's a, it's kind of a cohesive unit, if you will. Giggity. All right, so upon looking at the recipe, I only need a 1/4 cup of candied orange. I think there's a lot more than a 1/4 cup there. Anyway, now that I've succeeded in dumping raisins all over the goddamn place trying to do this, we're going to add 3/4 cup of raisins. 1, it's a half a cup. And 2, there's 3/4 of a cup. Okay. So, now we're going to cut up the candied oranges from last night. So, now, a little more shameless self-promotion. Yeah. In case you forgot what channel you're watching. Go ahead, like, subscribe, share the video. I promise I won't be upset. So, because I made probably way too many of these, we're going to have plenty left over. So I'm going to grab the ones that have the most amount of sugar on them, because this is supposed to be like a sweet bread. And where's my quarter cup? Where did I put that? Ah, there it is. Covered in butter. I'm basically just gonna, I'm going to kind of cut this up. Now, realistically, I probably could have let this dry a little bit more last night, but like I said in the previous video, it was 2 a.m. And I kind of wanted to go to bed. So, you know, is what it is. Nothing's ever perfect when we make it here. You know, I think that's honestly one of the nice things about this channel, aside from the fact that I take pretty much nothing serious when it comes to this. Well, I can't say that. I can't say I don't take anything serious. If you go through the channel and you look at the readings, those are different. But when it comes to cooking, I mean, I feel like if you take cooking too serious, it stops being fun. You know, I'm not saying guys like Gordon Ramsay have an attitude problem, but I'm saying guys like Gordon Ramsay have an attitude problem. And I get it. Being a professional chef, whatever. But I'm not a professional chef. I'm just some idiot with a YouTube channel. So, you know, here we are. Now, I don't know how well this is going to mix because everything's still wet. So, I imagine it's going to mix good. I hope it mixes good. Otherwise, there's going to be like a clump of orange in one spot of the bread, and it's going to suck. Lesson learned. Next year when we make this, make sure that we order candied oranges ahead of time to save myself the 3-hour headache that I had to deal with last night. So, I don't really think it makes a difference how much you add. I mean, this calls for a quarter cup. It says 3/4 cup of raisin. Now, that's a quarter cup. I think I might add just a little bit more. I'm also going to kind of separate it in the dough because it's all sticking together. So, I mean, frig it. I made it. Let's add some more. Nice thing about something like this is it's open to experimentation. There's really no right or wrong way to do this. At the end of the day, it's either going to taste good or it's not. You're going to be like, oh, well, all right. That was really good. Now I know something for next time. Or that was terrible. Never doing that again. It's kind of how I treat cooking. So, you know what? I'm not even going to measure it. I'm going to go ahead and say add as much as you want. If you really like candied orange, or if you have an abundance of candied orange, throw it in there. I'm going to call this a 1/2 cup. I'm also going to completely miss the bowl with that one, so we'll call it a smidge under. So we're going to go back to mixing, and kind of, you know, like I said, you want to just mix it well. It's either gonna, the nice thing about cooking is it's either gonna work or it's gonna suck. There's no two ways about it. You know, you're either gonna get humbled or you're gonna be like, yeah, let's do that again. I didn't even think of that. Throw some orange peel in here. Because again, what's the worst that happens? Okay, so now we need to add another cup of flour. This is where it's going to really stiffen up. There. Now you're going to want to kind of use your best judgment here. On the texture of the dough. If it's soft, then you're going to have to add more flour. When I made this last year, I found that the amount of flour that this actually calls for, it was more than enough. So all together right now, I've got 2 cups of flour in this mix. And you know what? It's still a little sticky. So we're just gonna kind of knead it in and see what happens. I think we may end up actually adding that extra half a cup because it's soft. So yeah, we're definitely gonna have to add that extra half a cup. I'm gonna stir this just a little bit more and see what we got. You know. See where we end up. Yeah, I'm definitely thinking we're going to add the extra half cup flour. If I remember correctly, last year we used the full 2.5 cups. It's been a year since I made it, but you know, we'll see. All right. Toss in that extra half cup flour. That in the sink. That's going to sound great on the microphone. All right. Yeah, we're definitely going to want to... I think you're definitely going to want to use the 2.5 cups of flour because you basically want this... We're making bread, guys. You want it to be pretty cohesive. That out of the way because the next step is going to be to put this on the counter and knead it. I don't think I'm going to put it on the counter. I think I'll use my big cutting board I have. I'm just going to rinse that off as soon as we're done. So, just kind of keep flipping this around for now. It's definitely the better consistency this way. Definitely a better consistency. Okay. All right. So I'm going to grab the cutting board, set off to the side. Find a finger that's not covered in block. Anyway, we gotta scroll down. Everything's a mess. So we're gonna put this right on the cutting board. Adjust the camera down so you guys can see. So I'm just gonna knead it for... I'm going to put it here, just kind of. It says to cover it with a towel and let it set for 10 minutes. So that's what we're going to do. So we will be right back in a sec. It's been 10 minutes. So now, put that out of the way. We need to knead the dough. Until it's nice and elastic. So about 8 to 10 minutes. And then what we're going to do after that is we're going to put it in a greased up bowl. And then we cover it for 2 hours like we did, last year when we made this. So it says nearly 2 hours. I think we could get away with like an hour and a half. Mostly because I'm really bad at time management, apparently. And staying up until 2 a.m. last night. I was not up very early. So this is kind of like we're right on the cusp of getting this done in time. So, we're going to knead this for about 8 to 10 minutes, and then we're going to grease this, put it in here, and cover it and let it sit for a couple hours. Which is good because I have some things I need to do. So you get the idea. Nice elastic dough. It's really coming together. I'm not going to bore you guys making you watch me do this again for the second year in a row. So, we're done with this. Grease this up quick, which I happen to have some vegetable oil. So, I just dump a little on there. Because what this is going to do is it's going to prevent the loaf when it doubles in size from sticking in the bowl. Because we don't want to add any more flour to it, really. I think if we added more flour to it, it might just become a rock. Because this is pretty. So we're going to put this in the bowl. We're going to cover it for, well, you know what? We're going to do about an hour and a half and check it. Yeah. So we'll see you in a bit. Okay, we're back. Anyway, we're back. This has been covered for 2 hours sitting. The loaf has gotten bigger. So now we're going to put it on a greased up baking tray. And now it says to let it sit for another hour and a half or whatever. I don't have that kind of time, to be honest with you, because I'm terrible at time management, apparently. So, we're going to put this in the oven at 350 for 20 minutes. And then we're going to pull it out and put it back in for another 20 minutes covered with foil. So we'll be right back. Okay, so being that we're on a huge time crunch, we're going to pull it out of the oven. It's going to go in the Pyrex, and we're going to book, because our ritual starts within half an hour. So I will update you guys later on how it came out. But we'll see you in a bit. I'd be lying if I said I didn't forget to do this video until now at almost 1 in the morning. So the Yule cake came out really good. Everybody liked it. The candying of the oranges wasn't terrible. Honestly, it just takes forever. But the Yule cake came out good. You don't actually apparently need to leave it on the pan for almost an hour and a half, because it cooked up fine. Really, like, it was delightful. Everybody still enjoyed it. It came out the same way we did last year. So yeah, another successful Yule in the books. I'm gonna try and get back to making content as much as I possibly can right now. I have to get my altar stove over here to really get back into the reading side of things. But everything else went really good. I got to get my recipe book and see what we're gonna make next. But we're gonna try making content again. We're back, so after a hiatus. So with that being said, we'll see you next time.